A woman that shared over 600 billion naira in just 3 weeks without using any data, without using any bank. And yes, she shared over 4 trillion naira in 4 years. That is Shadia. We have no idea those who collected the money, but she is now above poverty. She is so rich that a court has ruled that she must return 960 billion naira. The money they felt like she looted. 960 naira has not been returned. So whenever they tell you that they are lifting people out of poverty, no, they are lifting themselves, their family members, their friends, concubines out of poverty. That's what they are doing, because they automatically ended up being richer than they were before they were given that appointment. So here is another clown who has been dropping numbers, as they always do. The last time it was Ewale Idun that said he shared 625 billion naira by giving 25,000 naira each to 25 million households. So when we multiply that, it was 625 billion naira. And he said the money was shared through the banks, but there is no single bank name given. There is no record that they shared any money. Somebody said they shared it among themselves. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lifting people out of poverty is just the smoke screen. Now themselves, then they lift out of poverty themselves. Remember the sacked minister, Beta Edu. He shared 7.8 billion naira. The money was given to consultants that would help the ministry to put together the names of the poor people, okay, so that the government can now give them money. 7.8 billion naira. The current Minister of Interior, his own company, collected over 700 million naira, and he claimed that his own wife is the one in charge of the company, and he can't stop his wife, who is managing the company, from collecting government contracts. 724 million naira was paid to Olubunmi Ojo's company to help them put together the names of the poor people in Ekiti, Ondo, as well as Ogun. They didn't put any names together before they sacked Beta. Like you paid consultants. The poor people, where they won't give money to go. They never see. In some places, Beta went to Morocco to share noodles, pack of Indomie. She took pictures of that, posted it on social media that she was working. Meanwhile, 7.8 billion naira was already shared to consultants. Her fellow APC, Ebekebe friends, and all of them. They couldn't save her. But this one has come again, like Wale Idun. And according to this one, right, their plan is to give 15 million families 75,000 naira. The last time this mofo I'm about to play to you right now said Tinubu's regime is to give 25 million families 25,000 naira each again, like Wale Idun said. This was just last month, though, December 2024, that they wanted to give. Say, okay, is that the money you're going to be giving to them every month? He said, no, just once, 25,000 naira. So you mean once for the rest of the year? Yes. 25,000 naira for family of 4 or 5. That's how they are eliminating poverty. You know. So this time around, they're saying that no, it's not 25 million now, so it's 15 million. They want to give them 75,000 naira each. 75,000 naira is 47 or $46, Sabi? Yeah, $46. Imagine government that is lifting people out of poverty will give you $46 once in a year. And they believe it is Tinubu's policy to lift these 70 million people out. Man, you can say it's a joke, but you need to see the seriousness on his face. Take a look.
The president to reduce the number of people who are poor, multidimensionally poor in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Okwe. I think, let me just thank you for this opportunity of bringing me to Arise. And this morning, one of you was saying that you are arising, and I'm sure today we are celebrating the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and let me use the opportunity to also celebrate the Armed Forces for the services they've provided for Nigeria and protecting all of us and giving us even the opportunity to be here today. Even not because of them, I'm sure that this program may not even hold because of insecurity. So, but let me just start this way, that the figures are actually staggering. And these are the reasons why we're having, especially the malnutrition you raised the issue about. First is the issue of climate change. This year we had a lot of communities that were destroyed by flooding, from Borno to Bauchi to Adamawa, to the northwest, from Kano into Zamfara, and so many states, including Jigawa, that were affected by flooding. And the same way from the river basin of the River Niger and River Benue, and the flooding along those banks right down into Bayelsa State. So a lot of farmlands were destroyed by flooding. So it's estimated that a lot of people that were affected by this, this flooding and climate change don't have their farms insured. And because they don't have insurance scheme, they are going to be deeply affected by poverty and malnutrition. We also have those communities that, because of poor rainfall, especially in the far north, the effect of desertification is affecting them. So the crops may not do well because of the issue of climate change. And the government has seen that as a primary issue that we need to address. And then we have those people that have been affected by insurgency in some communities. And we're improving in terms of more communities being recovered, and more spaces that some years ago we cannot farm in them. Last year we did the geo-mapping and the spatial distribution of farming communities. In the north especially, we've improved in terms of the number of communities that have been recovered and number of farmlands that people can penetrate and they can farm now. Right. But Professor, we have also the communities that are still affected, and then we have the issue of these two that we need to take care of.
Professor,
but these are the problems.
Professor, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. What I would really like to hear this morning are numbers. So the number of people who have been, because if you mention all these things, but it doesn't trickle down to people feeling the impact of these interventions, then there will just be reports. There will be reports that we can't do anything with. How many lives have been impacted? How many people, communities? It would be great to really whittle down to the numbers this morning.
Okay, let me come this way. First, last year between October and December, and October and November, we were able to pay 5 million people the first tranche of the conditional cash transfer across the country. And then we paid the second tranche 1.4 million, and the third tranche 1.4 million households. Now, the reason why the number of people the household reduced is because the president has directed, based on CBN new regulation, that before any payment is made to an individual or a household, they must have at least a digital identity so that we can trace them, and that is the NIN number. And so we are doing the data capture, but for now, the poorest of the poor that we have on our database, only 1.4 million of them have digital identity. That's we can trace them using NIN number. So already we're working with NIMSI, and we're deploying already. We're doing training. NIMSI has brought in more devices for us under a program with the World Bank for us to assist us to do data capturing of people that don't have NIN numbers. And already we're training in some states like Rivers, like Kwara, like Abuja here, also in Nasarawa and some few states, even Kano. So we're deploying to those states as the first round, and by end of this January, we want to deploy across all 36 states to ensure that we start harvesting the need number of up to 18.1 million Nigerian households that we need to capture as fast as possible, so that we can deploy, so we can make payment for them. But that's now for conditional cash transfer. And we're working, the target of the president is that we should target 50 million households. And the average household is about 4 to 5. So we're discussing here roughly in the neighborhood of about 70 million households I want to target with 75,000 naira per person this year. So if we're able to get that 50 million people that the president asked us to target, and we're paying each of them 75,000, that will help them in several ways, because we're going to give them financial literacy, and that will help them to either start small businesses or go into agriculture. Will help them to buy farm inputs and help to improve and expand their farms. It will help them to expand their businesses. It will support them in no small measure at that level, so that we can see improvement in production in the country across the poorest of the poor households. So that's one step that we're taking.
Do you see how many plans they have for 75,000 naira? You would think it is like 75 million naira. Okay, I can take them in parts, because that's what I do. Wale Edun said they have the bank details of 25 million Nigerians after the removal of Omobeta. So now this one is telling us that they have only registered 1.4 million. Meanwhile, this same guy said they've been able to pay 5 million Nigerians last year. In the same breath, though, that same sentence, they said 1.4 million have been registered, right? But they have been able to pay 5 million last year, 1.7 million this year, this January. That's what I said. And their plan is that Tinubu told them to target 15 million. So where did Wale Edun, where did he get his own 25 million people they gave 25,000 naira to? Now, back to what he said they want to give to each household. 75,000 naira. 75,000 naira. He said they will give them financial literacy. They will help them to buy farm inputs, teach them how to be farmers and blah, 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 blah. With the same 75,000 naira. Yeah, did you notice that as well? Like, it started stammering when she said, give us number. We would rather have numbers. Give us numbers so that we can know how many people this is going to impact. Because he has to manufacture the number from Ed. Everything he's saying is a lie. And you know the saddest part is that by the end of this year, this person is going to roll out the same data and say they have actually paid 15 million people. Or if he wants to be smart or clever by half, he will say, oh, we targeted 15 million households, but we have been able to pay 12 million. So we intend to cover another million in 2026. But if you watch him closer, if you watch him closer, for those who know him from, I think he's from Taraba, Benue, I don't know. He will start building himself a massive country home. People around him, his family members will become very rich overnight soon. And the people they were supposed to give the money to would have become even more poorer. And you and I will be asking, now who you gave the money to? Who collected the money? All this trillion you are mentioning, who did you give the money to? The same way you are asking Shadia, who did you give the money to? Who and who collected this money from you? Abi, is it not the same Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, Agbowori Babaoja, the special advisor to Bokwari on burial arrangements, condolences visit, as well as trader money? Pastor Ruga of Ikene that said 10,000 naira was enough for people to start business in Nigeria. Remember, we are giving people 10,000 naira. If they pay that back, we'll give them 30,000. If they pay that back, we'll give them 50,000. Say, what if 10,000 go start? They say, well, 10,000 naira can start a pure water business. I bet you back, Pastor Ruga was so proud. Professor Ruga, he was so proud that they were giving people, lifting them out of poverty by giving them 10,000 naira. I bet you back, have you forgotten? Chai, man. People don't suffer for that place. And sometimes they don't deserve our pity too. They deserve everything coming their way. You know that? Yeah, the same people that you and I feel like they are taking advantage of. They are worse than these people as well. It is like dog eats dog, kind of. And it seems that it's only you and I that feel so concerned. Why are you treating them like this? Why are you treating people like this? You people are so selfish. But in reality, the people love their oppressors differently. They adore them. They cherish them. That is the reason why these guys have to last this long. They will hate you if you are not a thief. In Nigeria, you are expected to be a very, very good thief. They will only share crumbs to them. They will hate you more if you ended up being somebody who is not a thief. Because they won't believe you. They won't. Why do you think some of them actually hate Obi? Like, how dare he bragging? Is that a bragging thing? That is not a thing. Are you sure? What about this? What about investing the state money in his family business? Because they want you to be thief. It's a Nigerian thing. So you think you are special? What makes you think you are special? Because is it because I didn't steal money? What do you mean you didn't steal money? Is it because who knows that? Do you think you are special? What do you mean that you didn't steal money? Albany, you are all the same. All of you are the same. Stop saying that you are not a thief. We know you are a thief. What about your family? What about your this? What about your that? It is a place that you are expected to be a thief. And they will hate you more if you think you can brag with, I'm not a thief. I'm not collecting any pension as a former governor. So, who stop you from collecting it? Benny, my friend, I better go away, Joe. And then they embrace the real thieves. To them, you are expected to be a thief. Once you get a political appointment, you automatically hand the front row in your church because they will need money from you, millions of it, to fund the church project, House of God. So you can't tell them that my salary cannot fund that, or I don't have money. It's impossible. What do you mean you don't have money? Take it from the government now. Say, no, I don't want to touch government money. They will hate you for it. You're expected to become the biggest donor in your mosque. They know your salary can't pay millions of naira towards the mosque projects. But you're a government official. Come on. Take it from government now. So Nigeria is not a real place. And the hypocrisy also stinks. It stinks so much that people just, like we do say, right? People complain if they are not benefiting from it. No, not many Nigerians actually hate corruption. They just don't like it if they are not benefiting from it. Not many Nigerians hate oppression. They just don't like it if they're not the ones actually oppressing people. To the point that some of us are always hoping and praying that we'll get to a position that we can oppress. If I make that street, what did they do me for this my street? If I make them, I go show